to count to 3 in English, and you can count along with me in any language you want. Are you listos? Hop. 1, 2, 3. Wake up, Marisa! It worked! Marisa, we have friends here who would like to do some circus with us today. Are you awake enough for that now? Oh, good. Are you awake enough too out there? Oh, great. So once again, I'm Marcy.
I'm Marisa.
And
That's my mom.
That's my daughter.
And we are
Diamond Family Circus. Well, we have traveled all over the world to perform and teach circus. And today we are super excited to be doing some circus with you from our living room. Our circus school can't be open right now, and that's where we have all of our fancy equipment, like our costumes and our trapezes and big mats to do all kinds of acrobatics on. But you know what? Even though our school might be closed and your school might be closed, we can still do lots of fun circus things in our living rooms. What rooms are you in? You can put it in the chat or you can just shout it out. We're curious where everybody is today. We are in Vermont in the United States right now. Usually we're near our circus school in Massachusetts, but we're just so excited to be sharing this with you today. And what's really important is to just have fun, whether you have the materials or everything works for your body or not. You can stay safe and have fun with us today. Marisa has something to say about that.
Yeah, so in the circus, we're really, really lucky that we have so many different things to do. You can juggle, you can do trapeze, you can do acrobatics, and what that means is that maybe not everything will fit for your body. Just like clothes, not every kind of clothing will fit your body, but you should be able to find something that fits for you. And on that note, you don't have to do anything that feels wrong for your body. You're welcome to try anything and everything, but don't feel like you have to.
So can we practice saying one of my favorite words right now? Because if something doesn't feel right for your body, you get to say no. So let's practice that right now. We're going to count to 3 again. This time, I think in French.
Great.
Okay.
And then we're going to say no in English.
Or French.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Un, deux, trois, no.
Oh, you can say it louder than that. Let's try it again.
Un, deux, trois, no.
Oh, that was awesome. Okay, wait, I have another favorite word.
Is it yes?
Yes. Can we try that one too?
And can we count to 3 in Spanish this time?
Yes. I mean, sí. Okay.
All right. Uno, dos, tres, yes.
Say it with us.
Uno, dos, tres, yes.
So you get to choose. You can say yes, you can say no. It's all good. All right. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, I think we already know hop
And listo.
and listo. And if you have any questions at all while we're doing our fun circus stuff, you can put them in the chat to Molly, I think, and maybe we'll stop at a few different points along the way and ask if there's some questions that we can answer for you. If we don't get to all of them, that's okay. She can always share them with us later, and we can try to post them on our website, which is diamondcircus.com, or our Facebook page, which is Diamond Family Circus, or we'll just send it back to Connected North so we can connect.
We will do that. Okay, so you let us know when the logical time is for questions.
I think we'll have 2 places for questions.
Okay, so we're going to get started with our very first activity where you don't need any equipment except for your own body, which is the best equipment we have in circus and really in life. So we're going to start with a parade of animal acrobats. Now in our circus, the animals are all humans using our imagination to be like animals that we watch and see how they move, and then we move our bodies like the animals. So
although sometimes the circuses we're in have horses or dogs, all animals that really like to be trained, and they do really, really well. Like in real life, if you have a dog, we have a dog. We trained him. We taught him basic commands.
he's not quite ready to be in the circus yet, though. He has to learn some more and practice some more,
Yeah.
but that's okay. So let's start with parade of animal acrobats. And Marissa's going to lead us in a few exercises. I might even try some too.
Great.
Oh, can I say one more thing? Some of these you use your legs for. If you can't do that right now and you need to be sitting in a chair, you can try just the arm part. And you can modify this or change it any way you want for your body.
Like we said, you can say yes, you can say no.
Or you can say, I'm going to do it differently.
Right. All right, so to start off with our parade of animal acrobatics, we are going to start with bunny hops. And to do our bunny hops, we are going to put our arms way up by our ears, squeezing our head in between our arms, and we are going to jump with our feet together, trying our best to keep our knees straight the whole time. So we are just jumping using our feet. Ready? Go. Let's try to do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. Great job. All right, our next animal is an inchworm, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing with my whole body here.
And I will get out of the way.
Just like our bunny hops, we are going to start in the same position with our arms way up by our ears, squeezing our head. We are then going to bend at the waist, and you do not have to be able to touch your toes. You can lean forward into more of a down dog pose if you're more familiar with yoga. You're going to reach down so your hands can touch the ground, and I have our nice tight pipes, and I can pretty much touch my toes, but you don't have to. And then I'm going to walk my hands out forward so I'm in this push-up position or a plank. Then I'm going to walk my feet. You can do 5. Bend down, walk your hands, walk your feet, stand up, step back. That's 1. Again, bend, hands, feet, stand up. That's 2. Bend, hands, feet, up, back, 3. Bend, hands, feet, up, back, 4. Last one. Down, forwards, feet, up, step back, and that's 5. Great job with your inchworms. Our next acrobatic animal is a crab, and we're going to do crab walks, just like you may have done in a dance class or a PE class or any kind of exercise class. A lot of exercise classes like to use crab walks. For your crab walks, you're going to sit down on your bottom to start. You're going to put your hands behind you, your feet solidly on the ground, and you're going to lift up your hips and shoot them towards the sky. And then you're going to walk backwards and forwards. And then see if you can try walking sideways in both directions. I'm going to give you guys 10 extra seconds to do your crab walks. Awesome crabs. All right. Our next animal is a frog, and we're going to do 10 frog jumps. To do your frog jumps, you are going to do a nice squat position and put your hands on the floor if you can get them there. And then you're going to do a really big jump, and you're going to extend your whole body into a straight position as you jump off the floor. So let's try to do what I say, 10. Let's try 10. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. Whew, I'm getting warm. I hope you guys are getting warm. All right, our last animal, like I mentioned earlier, in the circus could be a horse. And for horse, we're just going to do our horse stance. And you're going to stand with your feet in a small straddle position, which just means they're apart from each other. And you're going to try to sit down in the imaginary chair behind you and then hold that position. Some people also call this a plie. This is also known as horse pose in circus. All right, great job. I hope you all had fun learning your animal acrobatics. I'm going to hand the screen back over to Marcy.
Thank you, Marisa. Well, for those of you who joined us early, you were able to get a list of materials that you could go on a scavenger hunt for, and you may have gathered those already. We want to make sure that all of our friends have a chance to do that. So we would love to take some questions while we put up on the screen what those items are. So if you have questions, you can ask us right now. I'm going to put the list of things that you can look for right now, if you haven't already, on the screen, and we can take some questions, and maybe Marisa will juggle a little bit for you while we're getting some questions or you're looking for your items.
Okay, so if you have any questions that you'd like before we start our juggling and our lesson about the circus, you can just type them in the chat and we'll take a couple questions while our friends go and gather their materials. So from Weston, how do you juggle?
That is a great question, and that is the very next thing that we're going to explain. So the next thing we're going to do, Marisa's showing us how to juggle with rings right now, but those are the only 3 rings we had at home. All of the rest of our stuff is at our circus school, and we know that you at home might not have rings, and you might not have even juggling balls. So we're going to show you how to make those things with the materials on this list. And if you don't have them, you can still watch and learn how to juggle. And it's something you can practice while we're talking in this program. And after the program ends, you can keep practicing. So maybe another day, if you don't have it today, you can find something you can juggle with safely. Marisa was just juggling clubs, and that's a much more advanced skill. She practiced so much to learn how to juggle those clubs. We always start out with something a lot simpler than that, and I'm going to show you right now.
Okay, so we just have a couple questions that I can answer. Alias, if you don't have an empty paper towel roll, you can use a spatula or a flipper from your kitchen, as long as it's not sharp. And to the lavaliers, just plastic grocery bags that you might have in your recycling. So just 3 bags or 3 handkerchiefs or 3 light pieces of fabric, just like that. Thanks, you're welcome. I think we need socks because we're going to be using them soon. Weston, yeah, Marcy will let us know. So, Listo?
Huh?
Over to you.
So our question was, somebody asked the question, how do you juggle? One of the ways that we start juggling is with juggling scarves that look like this. They can be any lightweight scarf. But if you don't have one at home, that's why we asked you to find those plastic bags. So we don't use these for store shopping anymore. We use them for juggling, and we never throw them away. They're nice, clean bags, and what I do is take the handle part and point it towards the ground, and the other end I will put in my duck beak. This is my duck beak hand, and I grab the bottom of the bag with my duck beak. So I'm going to start with one, and I'm going to make a duck beak with the other hand too, and that's going to be a very hungry duck. So it's going to want to grab like it's eating in the river. I'm going to take the first one and throw it up like a rainbow, and then catch with my hungry duck on the other side. So it looks just, Marissa's going to show you with the scarf. It's the same thing. It goes up and down, up like a rainbow, down to the hungry duck, up like a rainbow, down to the hungry duck. So if you can do that 5 times, you can count in whatever language you are comfortable in.
Or in your head, in whatever language you're comfortable in.
If you can do that 5 times, we're going to move on to 2. If you haven't quite gotten 5 times yet, keep practicing with 1. That's how we start. We practice until we get good with 1, then we add a bag or a scarf. Now, each of my hungry ducks has a bag, but they like to share. So taking turns, my hands, my hungry ducks, are going to throw in the air in a rainbow. And it looks like this. So I'm going to start with the hand that I don't usually write with. And I'm going to throw up. And while it's floating, I'm going to throw the other one up. Up, up. And you can let them fall. Just so your hands get used to taking turns and to throwing. So up, up. The bags make an X in the air. When you get good at that, from practicing, you can then try to catch them. So they still take turns and go up, up, down, down. Up, up, catch, catch. Up, up, catch, catch. Some people say crisscross applesauce. When you get really good at that, and that might be in a week or 2, you can add a 3rd bag. The way you do that is we now have to, because most people don't have more than 2 hands, we need to make 2 duck beaks with 1 hand. So we have to separate our fingers. It's kind of hard, but I bet you could do it. And then you have just 1 in the other hand. When we're throwing 3 objects, we start with 1 of the objects in the hand that's holding 2, but just 1. And then our hands take turns throwing. Don't worry about catching the first time. Just throw right, left, right.
Or left, right, left. Depending on which hand you start with.
Left, right, left. Then you can start, when you get good at the throws, you can start catching. And it looks like that. And when it falls, what do?
You try again.
Yes. So it is incredibly normal when you are juggling, even if you're an expert, to drop the things you're juggling and try again. That is the best thing you can do, is just try again. And you can move if you have to catch them. Ta-da. So we can juggle lots of things, and we're going to move on from juggling in just a moment, but Maurice is going to show you how to juggle balls. If you have rolled up balls of socks.
Yep, I'm going to use my sock ball, which is literally just a sock I have rolled up into the shape of a ball. If you have clementines, tennis ball, whatever you have is great. And I do have a real juggling ball here, but just for the sake of solidarity, I'm going to use my rolled up sock ball. So for juggling balls, instead of scarves or bags, you're going to flip your hands from this upside down duck beak to palm up platters. So as if the palm of your hand should be facing the sky, and they should be nice and soft, and you should be able to hold that juggling ball, but not with a super tight grip. And you just want to make the start, you just want to make those rainbows that Marcy was talking about, tossing from hand to hand, back and forth. And this might be your level. This might be super hard. It might be super easy. If you can toss back and forth 5 times in a row, you can try adding the second ball. And I'm going to use, again, my sock ball, 2 sock balls. Socks come in pairs, usually. And just like with the scarves, we want our balls in the air to make an X. We want them to cross. So I talk about, Marcy said crisscross applesauce, and I talk about my juggling pattern as X's and O's. I don't want any O's, I want all X's. So they go crisscross, catch, catch. Up, up, catch, catch. My hands take turns, and my arms stay nice, and I say the word quiet, but that means they don't move a lot. So they stay nice and quiet, and they don't reach all the way up here to catch the ball while it's midair. They let gravity do its job. Great. And eventually, once you get to 2 balls and it's great and they're making that crisscross pattern, you can add in your 3rd juggling ball, just like you did with the scars. And then all of a sudden, who knows, you'll be a juggling master.
Thank you, Marisa. So while you have your juggling balls out, whatever they're made of, if you can grab the pair of socks, long socks, if you have them, we're going to show you something called poi. And poi comes from the Maori culture in New Zealand. We got to teach circus in New Zealand, and it was one of the best times we've ever had. People were so wonderful, and we learned a little bit more about poi. So Marisa is going to show you, and I can make one and she can make one.
So to make your poi, you're going to take your long sock, open it up at the top, and just drop whatever ball you have. If it's a clementine, that's great. If it's a tennis ball, that works. If it's a dryer ball, that's cool. And you're just going to drop it in till it's all the way down at the bottom of the toe. You kind of have to shake it out a little bit.
And yes, these are Batman socks, in case you were wondering.
With capes.
With
Batman.
capes.
So once you've dropped the ball in to the socks, they should look like this, really heavy at the toes, the ball down there, and just normal socks at the top. To start swinging your poi, you're going to wrap the sock, the top of the sock where the opening is, around your hand 1 time. So you get a nice grip. We don't want these going everywhere. Not going to break any vases today. And to start, you are just going to start swinging, making forwards circles with your poi. And these are real poi now. They're no longer just socks. Once you've got a handle on swinging forward, making circles, you can start swinging backwards, making circles. And if you want a challenge, try doing 1 sock forward, 1 poi forwards, and 1 poi backwards.
Wow.
And see if you can switch directions. Whew, nope, I don't even know if I can do it.
If you don't have a long sock too, we used a plastic bag and put the sock in the bottom of the plastic bag, just so you know.
If you tie a knot right where the sock is at the end of the plastic bag, it should work. Great. I want to quickly teach a 2-beat weave. This is one of the most common patterns you will see with poi. And to start, you're only going to use 1. And you're just going to make an X across your body, swinging it across and down by your side, across, down by your side, across, down by your side.
That looks like a number 8 that you're drawing.
Yep. I feel like I'm making a figure 8 or an infinity sign because it's sideways in the air. And then I want to switch hands and try it with my other hand, because eventually you can do this with 2 poi, which looks like this. So I'm just making 2 figure 8s at different times. I think you may have noticed one of my arms started before the other arm started, so they don't get caught up and tangled in each other.
That's awesome. Thank you, Marisa. Do we have any questions about juggling? Before we move on, we have one more object manipulation skill to show, and we want to just check in on any questions real quick.
We did have a request from Candace way back at the first part that we know that she would like to see your funniest face that you can make.
Oh boy. Well, we are going to do a little bit of clowning in a couple of minutes.
In like 1 minute, we can do some
Okay.
clowning.
And then we will be
Candace.
making some funny faces for sure.
Does that
Okay.
sound okay?
And then Weston wants to know what to do with the third ball for juggling.
Oh, so if you did the 3-bag juggling, it's the exact same pattern where every hand is taking a turn. I'll demonstrate one more time. So I start with 2 balls in one hand. And let me use 3 different color balls if we can find. Oh, they're in our poi. So,
Okay.
so I have a blue, a red, and a red. And my pattern, the way I'm holding, I have a red and blue in one hand and the red in the other. I'm actually switching 2 reds and a blue. I'm gonna go red, blue, red. And that's all I'm gonna try to do. So red, blue, red. And don't even try to catch them. I'm practiced that for a while because you want those balls to land pretty close to you. I don't know if you can see where they landed, but they're all within about a foot of me. And that means you've got good control. And then once you got that down, then you can start trying to catch. And just try 1 cycle.
Great question. And if you want to learn more about juggling or any of the things you saw today, or even other things in circus, our very good friend Jackie Davis from New Hampshire in the United States wrote a book that we love. It's called DIY Circus Lab for Kids. And along with the book, there are some tutorials on YouTube. And it shows you how to make your own circus equipment, some different ways than what we had, because we don't have all of the materials in here, but you might. So it's a great book to try to get from the library, or when you get to back to school, to ask if they can have this book. It's called DIY Circus Lab for Kids.
And Jackie puts a lot of her videos on YouTube that are totally free. You don't have to have the book. So now that you know what you can use as juggling balls, I think they have, Jackie has juggling tutorials, DIY Circus for Kids on YouTube, and we love her.
She helped found an organization that we're part of called the American Youth Circus Organization, and there's lots of information there too. And I do want to show you one more book because we love to read circus books. We just love to read. This one's called Watch Out for Flying Kids, and this is by our friend Cynthia Levinson. And it is about a bunch of circus kids who do amazing things in St. Louis, Missouri in the United States. And Marisa was their coach for a while. So these are actually our good friends. And if you get to read this book, you can read all about them. Watch Out for Flying Kids.
All right, let's get to our paper towel tube, which is for balancing. So we were lucky enough to be able to take one of our peacock feathers from our circus studio before we closed. And this is usually what we would use to balance. But because we're circusing in our living rooms, we're gonna get really crafty and we can use a spatula or a flipper or our paper towel tube. Marcy's gonna demonstrate with the peacock feather.
And this helps because there's something that looks like an eye at the top of the feather. And I can use my eye to watch the feather's eye to see which way it's about to fall and move my hand right under that.
So with the paper towel tube, it looks like this. Yeah. And with the spatula, which is a little bit harder, I think, it looks like this. Woo. See, that's even difficult for me.
Whoa, thanks for being safe, Marisa, and protecting your circus troop. Okay, so if we have another question, we are going to go get another member of our circus family right now to help us with clowning, and that may be the last thing we have time for. Also, I showed you the books. There's also a lot of art in circus. I mentioned costumes and makeup, and there's sets. So if you like to do art and you want to draw a picture and send it to us, we would love that. Anything about circus. JT Turner, come on in.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing great. I'm JT Turner. I'm a member of Diamond Family Circus. What are we going to do?
We are going to do 1, 2, 3, which is a clown game, and it's going to give our friends at home a chance to make their funniest faces.
Yep.
One of us is going to have to make a funny face as part of this.
Oh, it
So
should be
I'm
Maurice.
gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain the game very quickly. We're gonna demonstrate it, and then you guys are gonna get to be the number 3, which I'm going to be when we demonstrate it. So to play this game, you need 3 people, and you're in luck because Marcy and I are added to your 1, or however many of you there are. And so the number 1, which is Marcy in this case, she's going to do some kind of movement, and that can include a sound or not. The number 2, which is JT, is going to repeat that sound and or movement as best they can. And the number 3, which is me, is going to reinterpret that sound or music in that sound or movement in a different way.
What
So
does that mean?
my goal is to change what I have seen and heard into something that is similar but not the same. And that might be funny or it might just be different. But this game helps us find out what is funny. And sometimes different can just be funny.
Let's do it. Let's just do it.
Okay.
All
so
right.
Are we ready? Listo.
Up.
Yep.
Achoo.
Achoo. Go again.
One more time.
Hi.
Hi.
Bye.
Ah.
Okay, so now, thank you, JT.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
We might need you in a minute.
Okay.
We're going to be 1,
And 2, and you at
are
home
the 3.
get to be number 3. So we'll do 1, 2, and then we'll give you a couple of seconds to react. And why don't we do it 3 times through? Because 3 is the magic number when it comes to comedy.
That's
Or
true.
clown.
That's right. There's 3 of us. Okay. Huh.
Now it's your turn, number 3. I'm sure it was great.
I bet that was awesome. I wish we could see all of it. Let's do another one.
Yep.
Your turn. Make it different and bigger.
Great.
All
Last
right.
one.
Good job.
I'll be number 1 this
You
time.
be number 1. I'll be
switch
number
it.
2.
And
You
you're
are
still
still
number 3.
number 3. Okay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Did you get it?
I hope that was the silliest or the biggest way you could be number 3. Great. I think we might have another minute or 2, so we would like to show you one more thing that we do in the circus. We do so many different kinds of things, and like Marisa said, everybody can find some part of it that they enjoy. We are going to show you something called partner acrobatics or pyramids. So JT, can you come on back?
We're going to show you what's called a ladder or a zipper. A lot of things in circus have more than one name, but they mean the same thing.
So Marisa is going to keep her body super strong, like a table that can hold the biggest meal you could possibly imagine and not collapse.
And since I'm on the bottom of this pyramid, I'm called the base.
And now JT is the middle base, and he's going to ask, is it okay to put my hands on your shoulders?
Maurice, is it okay to put my hands on your shoulders?
And wait for
Ready.
an answer.
Ready?
Murray says, is it okay for me to put my feet on your hips? And JT, is it okay for me to put my hands on your shoulders?
Yes.
Ready.
Okay. Ta-da! And now the most important part is getting down safely.
Number 1, number 2.
Number 3. Nice work. We would like to do you don't have to try that one at home. We just wanted to give you an idea. we're going to show you a circus bell real quick, and it goes like this. One person will say hop.
And one person will say ready.
Oh, ready. You do it differently. Then the next person will say hop, and we will all clap. And then all together, we will put our hands in the air and say, hey. So it goes, ready, hop, hey. Try that with us.
Ready?
Hop,
Hey.
That was
Great job.
amazing. Great job. Now in circus, we never say goodbye. We always say, see you down the road, because we usually will see people that we see in the circus, whether they're performing with us or they're in the audience
Or there are students.
sometime again down the road. So before we say see you down the road today, are there any more questions or comments, Molly?
Everyone loved it. They said, this is so much fun. Great job. They're giving you their virtual high fives. Ta-da. How many people can you stack on that thing?
How many can we stack on that?
The ladder, yeah.
We've done, I think I've seen up to 7, and I've been part of up to 5. Ghost, our dog, who we mentioned is not quite circus ready, has joined us now as well.
Who wants to give
Hi,
you a
Ghost. And Zane says, I would eat healthy foods for 1 month to experience these things once. So do circus performers have to eat healthy?
Yes, we do. We drink a lot of water and we eat really healthy foods as best we can. Sometimes we're on the road or in a circus where they're making food for us. It's hard to eat the way we normally do, but we do our very best to eat a lot of vegetables. Even if they're frozen or they're whatever is in season, we try to eat vegetables and fruits. And we eat mostly plants and seeds and nuts and things like that. But whatever is really healthy for your body, because you need to put in your body what your body needs to do all of the important things in life. So,
and just as important as how healthy you're eating is making sure that you are practicing your flexibility, like stretching, and making sure you're staying really, really strong too. So we do a lot of strengthening or conditioning exercises to be able to do the kinds of things that we do. But like I mentioned, what I really like is even if your body can't do those things for any reason, there's a lot of things in the circus that you are still able to do, which is why we like things like juggling and balancing, because those are a little bit simpler to do at home with a little less practice, which is why we're doing it in our living room.
or even making your own costumes.
Which is awesome. And Laura wants to know, we've got a couple other questions. Laura wants to know, when did you open your circus?
That's a great question. So we started Diamond Family Circus
About 10 years ago.
maybe 12 now even. 10?
11. So it was like, we measure by my age. It was when I was 13 and I'm 24 now.
That's
so that's 11 years.
So that our circus has been going for about 11 years, but we also work with a lot of other circuses. Sometimes we perform with other circuses too.
We don't actually have our own circus space where we practice. We work with other people's circus schools when we teach, but when we perform and when we go out into other communities to teach, we work as Diamond Family Circus.
Oh, and that reminds me, if you want to try to find a circus school near you, there's a couple of great places to look online. Cirque du Soleil, I have right on the back of my shirt, actually has a program called Cirque du Monde, and you can find them on Facebook or on the web, Cirque du Monde. And they have circus schools all over the world that they support that are helping people make a positive change in their community. It's called Social Circus, and we are part of that network through the American Youth Circus Organization.
And that's the other place that you can look online, the American Youth Circus Organization's website. They have a directory of a whole bunch of circus schools.
So you can find resources right from your living room. Even if you don't have a circus school near you, You can always find us at diamondcircus.com, but also some of those books and websites that we talked to you about. And juggling is something that with a grown-up, you can probably find juggling help on YouTube. One of our favorites is Craig Quat, Q-U-A-T, who does a lot of juggling lessons for free online. He has YouTube videos that, particularly for people with different kinds of disabilities, or just who have challenges with juggling the way we taught it, you might find ways that work for you from our friend Craig. So
and we just have, Wes said that he wants to join the circus because of you, and thank you. And Abby wants to know what kind of school do you need to go to be a circus performer?
What kind of school? So we went to regular public schools, both of us growing up. Marisa and we both went to regular universities. We went to circus schools in our community. We actually had to travel at the beginning. There wasn't one near us.
Sorry, I'm here.
Ghost is very excited because our neighbor just came over to bring us some treats, which was really nice. They're staying 6 feet apart, but visiting to bring us some treats. That was very sweet. So the dog got excited. But yes, there are also circus colleges and circus schools where you can study full time. Canada actually has some of the best circus colleges in the world. École Nationale de Cirque in Montreal, and there's also a national circus school in Quebec City. And the majority of people that go to those colleges, even though they accept students from all over the world, the majority are from Canada. So if you practice some of your circus skills a lot, you might even be able to audition and get into the circus colleges right there in Canada. And we're just very excited to tell you about that because they're right there in your country. We wish we had such great schools for circus in ours.
I think we're, because I know we're a little bit over time, but thank you so much, Marcy and JT and Marissa and Ghost, for sharing with us. I think the students would like to do that again. They've put in the chat, please do it again. So we'll talk. Great. And thank you so much for sharing with us about, oh, please do more, Weston says. Joy says yes. So we'll figure that out and we'll post it on the Connected North at Home website. So thank you for, so cute. Thank you so much for sharing your many gifts